this is a fun bonus video I want to do at the end of a Let's Play. What if I rank all the monsters? And then I in fact did not realise this game has so much more monsters than the ones I was used to on the PlayStation. There's 272 of them. And because I actually like to, you know, give a full review to them, like, as you've seen my old friend or farewell series, a full review exactly what I like about the graphic design of the creature, and the way they imply the story or the gameplay role in, and all these little details. So I went and I recorded the entire set of 272 monsters, and added up, the runtime of it was longer than the entire Let's Play. It went up to 8 hours. So I made the executive decision that nobody wants to watch that except me. So I've cut it down to instead just a highlight of my favourites and my least favourites. Because there was at least one monster here that I liked even more than Fratley's design. I feel bad saying that, but it was really, really cool. When we get to that, we will get to that. Okay, so I got halfway through editing this before thinking of a better pun. Monsters rule, monster ranker, monsters rule, monster ranker. I was transported to a faraway live stream to the world of Fratley's tale. Played the game like an ace, now we're filling space by ranking markers on an arbitrary scale. Monsters rule, monster ranker, monsters rule, monster ranker. Yeah, sorry for that interruption. Also, after finishing all the work of editing the logo, I realised this is not the official copy of the logo. This is an AI upscale made by the Red Menace on customsteamgrids.com. And that's why I had to fix the TM. When you zoom in, it's really crushed up and you can't actually see the word. Sorry about that to this guy. I would not have done this if I knew beforehand. But there doesn't seem to actually be an official upload of the logo, so damn. Here's the original intro to the video before I made that decision. I actually found I still have the save file for this all this years later. My Nintendo DS ROMs file is probably one of the things I use the most often on my computer. I'm always backing it up. So that and my Dr. Snap memes folder and like my general art are probably the only thing that survived from all my previous computers. So anyway, we're going to dig into the files and see what there is remaining. First off, when I first opened the file, this monster was in my inventory. I was like, why would I be raising a pure Zan? Like, that's not one of my favourite monsters. I like the Zan, but I like the combinations of it with other things. Why do I just have a pure Zan? Why are its stats so high? And I remember what I actually did. After I played those monsters I mentioned at the end of the last episode, I unlocked the quest to first unlock the Zan monster. I can't for the life of me remember what on earth it was, but it's one of those secret monster types, and I guess when you do that, I think it gives you an item that you can fuse with any monster and then it becomes this. Like, it just becomes a pure Zan no matter what you do. You can't actually make it a combination. And I think this monster, before I did this to it, I think it was a Pororo, because when I looked up at my stats, it doesn't tell you which monsters you've raised, and I can't remember all the ones in between, the ones I actually talked about. But it does have a general list of all the species, and like, oh, have you raised this one or not? And it does say I have raised a Pororo, which I have no memories of. The best I can guess, I probably just picked the same species I had as a kid, or whatever one that was, the blue one. But yeah, I finished the Zan quest with that, and it turned into a Zan, and I have a Zan, and I named it Cheatin'. Or is it chitin? Whatever, the scientific term for exoskeletons on a bug. And then everything above this are other monsters I just had in my inventory at the time I loaded this up. We have Foot Gummy, which is an ish monster, because at some point I discovered there's an exploit in the game. If you fuse an ish with any monster, you get a special secret rare of that monster. You'd think that was intended, like, oh, here's this useless version, and its point is it unlocks a better version, but no, it's just a glitch. And apparently the only way you were meant to get all these special monsters is like entering in special codes, special drawings, special voice clips in the creator. To be honest, I like it. It makes it more accessible to actually see the novelty versions of the monsters, because I never got any of them in the previous games, because obviously I just didn't know, oh, you need this specific CD, you need this specific password, etc. to get it. If you weren't there for the event distribution, or you didn't use a guide, you just screwed. So anyway, I was keeping Foot Gummy, and every time I'd unlock a new monster species, I'd go and I'd fuse it together with this, and I'd make a save state. I'd fuse it with Foot Gummy and just see what the novelty monster is, and then I'd revert the save and undo the time so I had the gummy back. And so they stayed in my inventory the longest of almost any monster. And this really baffled me. I was like, why did I not ever actually raise the monster I fused from Fratley? And the whole point of the end of the stream was I was going to raise this one next. And I realised, oh yeah, it's because I never did another stream of this. I was like, I have to save this monster for when I do another stream because everyone would want to see this monster. So I went and I re-raised another monster from scratch, and that was the one which became Babaji and became some kind of Pororo and then became a Zam. Because I was just doing that in the background to grind out and to gain more things and to gain money and to unlock special species. So when I finally could come back and do the stream, I could have the best possible time with Latfrey. Which just, it never happened. So hey, I'm going to throw it out to you guys. If you were enjoying these videos and you'd like me to continue, I will totally just do a regular Let's Play of me hanging out with Latfrey, like, not a streamed version, just me chatting to the void. It could be the big sequel, it can end it all off with a bang. It can see if I learned how to be better at the game in all these years. Probably not, because I've forgotten every single thing I learned while playing off screen. But hey. And then we also have Patchy the Pirate. This is the, what was it, Pancho and Duck thingy combination. I thought that was really fun when it becomes Pop-Up Pirate. Apparently Pop-Up Pirate is really popular in Japan as well as in English, and I had no idea about that until I saw it referenced in a Yu-Gi-Oh manga. Amazing news for these guys. Pop-Up Pirate was invented in Japan. It was just such a commonplace, such a popular toy when I was a kid. I just assumed it was made in our country, and the pirate had a name in Japan. It was One Shot Blackbeard Crisis. Kurohige Kihi Ipatsu. That's a really bizarrely badass name. I mean, maybe it just doesn't sound that cool in Japanese, but like, for a really goofy, funny game, that's just really cool. That sounds like it could be a manga. I'm so happy with this. Like, that's amazing. That really broadened my mind. Thank you, Japan, for giving the English-speaking world so much joy from this funny little man. It's a fun mix of like, yeah, here's the toy duck monster, here's the shell monster. We have made a shelled toy rather than anything that directly looks like either one. I like there's a lovely variety in this game of like, yeah, that looks like that monster with the colours of that monster, that looks like that monster combined with the themes of the other monster. And then we just have Argus, which makes me laugh so much. Suezo and Golem, it really shows off, again, the benefits of this game having full model changes, not just textures. Just, they picked the funniest possible things, to put the mouth on the chest, to put the tongues on the shoulders. It's just, it looks like an angry cheese. It reminds me of Really Big Cheese from Robot Wars. I love it. So this one has just sat in my inventory forever. I've never used or raised this monster in any way. I'm not going to fuse it ever. It exists to make me smile. And the last one we have here is, I don't remember why I named this one after Fratley when it's not Fratley. Latfrey is Fratley. Like, the successor to Fratley. Did this happen during the streams? I actually haven't finished editing the streams at the point I'm recording this. I'll edit in if I found this out along the way. It's because, Fratley, I love you so much. Goodbye, Fratley. I give you big hugs. Please live on in the meadow of eternity and happy loveliness. And may you pass on your power to the next monster. So, yeah. Honestly, kind of a shame that that moment led to just a repeat of a monster I'd already gotten during regular gameplay, but I feel slightly more positive about the design now, by proxy, despite it still being shit. After I came back and looked at my old inventory there, I went, oh, we've got a new revival method in the lab. The last one unlocked a magic spell, which is just, you draw multiple things at once, and it says to use it to write things on, I guess, because that's faster. And for some reason, only the top row is unlocked. I can't write more things on the bottom. Presumably that'll unlock more as I progress more in the story. But anyway, here's the results where you just slam Dr. Snap into it. You get a monster called Karma. In Japanese, Dr. Snap's name is Karmaso, so this just slap me in the head. Okay, this monster looks frightening yet seems to be good at heart. Yeah, exactly, Dr. Snap. Wild. So anyway, I just named it Karmaso. And then Sleet Bomb the Baku, named after the infamous one that crushes your ass in, I think, the D-rank tournament in Monster Rancher 2. I will never forget him. And I'm going to go and I'm going to show you everything I've got on the encyclopedia so far. Originally I was only reviewing the ones I actually encountered during my off-screen gameplay, because I could not find a code to unlock it all, but then I found codejunkies.com was actually a better resource than the other ones I tried. Go there if you want this code. So I did review every single one, so they're just out of order because of that. And then our friend Karma, which just honestly looks like the base design for Abyss, which is just, it's this, but it's black and it's an Anubis. I don't really get what the thing on the end of the staff is. Presumably it's something to do with priests in Japan, maybe. It's just like a good guy version that punishes evil. Not one of my favourites. Obviously, Shadow Mage, this is our Fratley, this is the one we love. But I gotta say, in terms of design, not a good fusion for Falco. Falco is so weird. So many of the Falco fusions look nothing like the original design in any way. And it's not even like they made it look more birdy. Like, it has kind of a beaky nose, but it looks more like a rat. I guess because they mixed it with a jackal nose. And then the thing on its forehead is inspired by Horus, but when it's like the only trait on it that's remotely bird-like, except its staff also has some wings, it doesn't really register. It looks more like a Hermes monster or something. And the ears look like Marik from Pokemon, and the back of its head is like a slug shell. It looks like a nudibranch. I love nudibranches. And it's just got none of the colours of Falco. Falco is orange. Where did the blue come from? I'm not going to complain because it's my favourite design in the whole game I've found so far. Then once again we have all the Ish monsters, which are just a plain untextured glowy gradient version of the monsters. They have no real purpose except, in terms of the glitch, being a material to make the more interesting special monsters, which is not how they were meant to be. So I don't know why these even exist, to be honest, in their intended purpose. I guess it was just an idea of we can technically give 2 special versions to every monster, but one of them is always going to be the same for every single monster. And they make them different by having these different descriptions. I do like the joke that there's having totally different reason why they've suddenly turned blue for every single monster. But beyond the flavor text, there's really nothing here. Since I'm not actually going to be reviewing any of the others, I'll just cover them here, some of the ones I found funny. It turned blue because it choked on something. It was so socially anxious, it didn't get enough sun. It ate the forbidden cat food. And the colour Pandora became so self-conscious about having different faces that they painted them all the same colour so nobody could tell. And then Ogil, this is one of my favourite ones in this game. I don't know if it's new to this game or if it came out in one, again, the ones that were only released in America, which we didn't see for ages. It's a really nice, pleasing design. Like, I'm not a huge fan of super pink things, or cutesy girly things, but this is a great way of executing it. Like, that was a bit of a problem in prior Monster Ranchers, like, oh, the only girly monster, quote-unquote, was the Pixie, the fan service lady, and, like, yeah, if you just want to have a pink monster, but it isn't a sexy humanoid, then here you go. It's a really nice execution of both a fish and a dolphin monster, and the vibes of a mermaid, but it's not a mermaid, it's like a merfish. It's cool, it's great. I love the swirly ear ponytail thingies. I still don't know what Stadium Lady means, though. And this is the one we have in our thing. It's called a Plawner. I have no idea why I have a Plawner in my inventory. I feel like they could have done more with the idea of mixing a cute flower and a cute fish. Like, this isn't particularly cute. It's just the colours of a flower. They've added little flowers to the thingies. I guess the thingies have become more shaped like leaves instead of twirling. I feel like it's not enough. It's like, it's such a small detail, and the rest of it is just, oh, it's plain green now. And then I really like Husky Gill. But it's one of those plain ones, it is just the texture of a tiger over the top. But I love how the face looks. The tiny little tiger face with that little squishy nose, just like a triangle of a head. It's a really stylized, adorable puppy, and I love it. You just took a dog and made it a Dorito. Honestly, every colour Pandora fusion just looks amazing. It's so many fun and creative ways to shove the heads on things and to make the design look like a combination of multiple monsters. I do really imagine it truly is just the same colour Pandoras are squishing around and transforming like a Gundam. And here is the Scrungly cheese, which is in fact apparently the Scrungly curry. Its entire flavour text is just, it fucking loves curry. And here's the Ninja Turtle one where I was upset at its flavour text, like, oh, it looks like a sissy. That's so mean. It totally doesn't. Like, Mochi is one of the cute monsters. It was the first original, oh, we've tried to make a new pink one after the second game. But, like, this isn't one of those skins where they just make it look cute with Mochi. It made the colours really look like a totally different, crazy, post-apocalyptic mutant reptile creature. I wish the description had gone with that rather than a thing which doesn't make sense. Like, it genuinely just does not look in any way feminine. And Colour Pandora, I already said in the Let's Play, I really like them. They're a good classic design. As far as I know, they've been around since the first Monster Rancher. It's just such a fun idea. Just, it's a caterpillar made of 3 things which are not caterpillars. I do find it odd though how every game after the first 2 Monster Ranchers though had their default stance be showing the 3 of them separated, so it kind of ruins the whole fun of the thing. The whole point is you're surprised you think it's a caterpillar and then it's a knot. I wonder if in battle they still do that stance, because it would be weird if they completely changed so all the animations never become the caterpillar ever again. I find the flavour text here so confusing. But in a good way. It's like, we know nothing about how these things work. We don't understand if they even have a biological makeup. They're a phantom vision lacking substance but viewable by the human mind. It's just so funny because it's such a simple design. Like, there's nothing incomprehensible about it. It's just a Lego brick with a little funny face. But here, like, scientists cannot comprehend if it even has lungs. What is going on here? What is more than it seems? Do you just flip little faces up like television screens? There's just nothing inside. It's a void. It's an actual Pandora's box. Anyway, they're cute and fun. I like how every future game has made them look a little bit more grandpa. In the first game, they didn't, but now they got those lidded eyes. I don't know, it just adds a lot. It's a perfect combination of like ugly cute and actually cute. Anyway, all the fusions with them are really funny. Of course they are. Well, I do like how the flavor text literally references they are both basically a take on the same idea. Princess Colo and Colo Ball are rivals. So far, Princess Colo has 2 wins, 2 losses, winning the Glam Colo title and the Bling Dance title. Colo Ball has won the Chomp Away Eating title and Wild Acrobatics title. I love that idea. Also, I gotta say, why are all of these monsters called Ish? Ish in English means like, oh, it's reddish, so it's not really red, it's like close to red. But none of these things are close to the monster or like slightly like the monster or resembling the monster but are not in fact the monster. They all are the monster, but the monster has become blue in a different silly circumstance. So I wonder if this is a mistranslation. In Japanese it was something else. I looked it up and it's a correct translation of the Japanese being wrong too. In Japanese it's Modoki, which is like in Modoki Betamon, it's like imitation, but they're non-imitation monsters. They all are the actual monster that has transformed into a new form. If anything, they're imitation whatever this blue thing is, because it's actually in fact a regular monster that's just been painted blue or turned blue because it couldn't breathe, or several thousand other excuses. So yeah, I don't understand this. All the way down, none of it makes sense. And Pink Eye's a really funny pun for Pixie and Suezo. A lot of fusions with Suezo, they're not always exactly the same as they were in Monster Rancher 1, but they're very similar because the design was already set up. So yeah, not too much to say. There were also a lot of very creative special ones for Suezo, but because Monster Rancher DS, everyone only has one special one, I'm not sure if they included all the favourites. Baseball Boy is exactly what I was saying about the classic Suezo, one of the funniest ones, just a really creative and fun idea for interpreting this monster as some kind of quirky gimmick. And I like in this version they made the tail like an actual baseball, but as far as I can remember in the version of Monster Rancher 2, it was just shaped like the baseball itself, and it's got the whole hat and the bat, and its eye has wonderful amber shading for some reason. Don't know what that's got to do with baseball, but I just love it. A classic. I'm really glad they brought it back. I also like a flavor text being like, it always wants to be hit in the home run, so people have started thinking it's a masochist. Like, okay. The flavor text just doesn't make sense. Unlike the other Suezos, it's hard to figure out where the eye is, and you can blatantly see where the eye is on the texture. Honestly, one of the more boring Duckins. Duckin is usually really creative because it has the whole crazy toy theme, but here it's literally just cosplaying as Abyss. I guess it's interesting, like, it's not just the monster with the texture of the other monster, it's a monster cosplaying as the monster. But I mean, the result is basically the same, except only the face isn't textured. So, yeah. I like the flavor text, it's actually really goofy and plays videos. I don't know what correlation that has to do in any way with Anubis. It doesn't feel like any of this concept was really made in any way that is actually unique to the monster mix you've got. This could have been a cosplay of anyone, this could have been a joke of anyone that like, oh, it's not as spooky as the original monster, it just likes games. So, yeah, not my fave. And then Mew. It's Mew. It's the basic cat plushie monster. I never really had a very strong opinion on it. The way it was drawn in the earlier games, it was kind of creepy to me, I guess. It felt a little bit uncanny with how it moved, but now it's like fully cute in this game, and I just have no opinion on it. I mean, it's the generic kind of cute that isn't my kind of cute, if that makes sense. Like, I get that it's supposed to be cute, and it probably is to everybody else, but to me that's just, yeah, that's a thing that exists. But this one has a bunch of cool subspecies, and I think I like almost every one of its subspecies more because it adds more to the idea. It's like, it's a plushy version of something else, and I'm like, yeah, as a person who just isn't particularly in any way attached to plushy cats, out of every particular animal, I don't like cats more than anything else. I'm like, yeah, I'd like to see other types of plushies that are not cats. There may be one of the things that I do in fact like. But I do like the flavor text saying, oh, heartwarming, a plushie that came to life out of love for its owner to thank them for being so kind. And then it forgot what it was doing in the first place and ran off singing. And here's exactly what I mean about liking them way more. I love this little plushie devil man thing. It's got the same kind of cute vibes as Impmon from Digimon to me. I just don't get though why it's a combination with Abyss via Anubis. Like, you'd think from the name Abyss would be a demon monster, but it's not in this game. Like, if anything, Zan is the one that usually has demonic results from combinations. So I do kind of think this is a cool idea, but they just didn't know where to put the idea and kind of picked a monster at random to make it for. There are a few ones like this in this game where it feels like they should be a combination with a monster that was not actually in the game, but was in a previous game. Like, this could have easily been for Moo, or any of the other evil or villainous type monsters. And this one here is the one that we had on the main playthrough for Babaji, because this is my second favourite monster in the entire game I've seen so far, right after Fratley. I mean Shadow Mage. I really like it. I love the fat stitching effect on it. I love how it's a creative take on being a bunny doll. If anything, it's not even like fully a bunny doll. It's like a Mew but designed after the hair. Like, it's got more pointy triangular ears. It still feels like both a cat and a rabbit at the same time. I really do love that fat texture and the real stitching and the button eyes. It basically pulls off what Mew is going for so much better. Like, it looks like a really cute, cuddly stuffed toy. And it's a pleasing choice of colours for the brown and the red and the pink, and they all go well together. I just love it, and it reminds me of Patamon, and that is why I cherish this pal. I think there's another one that also has been in multiple entries of the series, and it never looked this good. Yeah, like, that does nothing for me. That does absolutely nothing. That's the most basic level of we just put a texture on the thing. And it also shows how Mew's proportions and stuff are a lot more uncanny in the earlier games. Like, just look at how much of a glow up it is. You just scroll down and immediately, oh, okay, it looks like a dog somehow, but it's not a dog. It doesn't look like a cat or a rabbit anymore. It's just strange, the way its mouth goes. It's like, it really feels like the texture's been misaligned in some way. And I gotta say, the advanced version, that's okay, but like, it's nice, but it looks more like just a chibi version of a hair. It doesn't look plushy in any way. I mean, you could make a plushie of that character, but it really just looks like it's someone from Mr. Driller. And I'm glad that forever in every future game they stuck with this design. Hell yeah. But the one in the anime, they managed to draw the earlier design and make it genuinely kind of cute. Again, it just shows the proportions and the way the texture is handled. Like, they could just fully draw a unique monster here, and they didn't have to stick to all that. It makes the whole design come together a lot better. Though it does just look really similar to a regular hair, just like a baby version, so yeah. And it's got probably one of the most boring special novelty question mark ones. It's just like, oh, here's a regular teddy bear. Okay, you've taken away the one slightly quirky thing about Mew. Like, it's a pretty boring design, it's just a cat toy, but like, it could have been a bear toy and been even more boring. And now it is! Gontar. Gontar is here. Yeah, probably one of the most boring ones. Like, I don't have the base form for, what's it called, a Baku. It looks almost exactly like this, it just doesn't have the brown stripes. It's the same thing, and we just drew one tiny piece of hair's design onto only the ears. Born of the Future, also the regular one, has lidded sleepy eyes, and this one does not. It's really not very noticeable. But the flavor text really makes it here. It's so boring, we couldn't describe in any way the species, so we've made this entire deep lore about Gontar being a singular character, who was abandoned by its breeder for years, and went on a great search and somehow evolved into having slightly dipped ear colours, and because of that, when its owner came back, it couldn't recognise it, and he had lost his memory. Like, an amnesia soap opera plot is going on about the shittiest design in the whole game, and okay, you've made it a little bit more interesting, actually. Also, I don't know why it has a visible butthole. I think it's the only monster that has that. Please stop rotating, sir. Yeah, like I said, I really like Rocky Fur, the Rocky Hair. I think it was called Rocky Hair in the earlier games. Again, the names always change because the translation's always different. Yeah, it's a good classic design. It's very simple, but I like the detail put into making the face all rocky and grumpy and not just like a hair. And the glowing eyes really bring it all together. I like the lore that it's actually nice and it only turns evil when its eyes glow yellow. And then Rubber Rabbit shows what you can do with just putting the texture of the monster on top and use that power for evil. I don't know why this is genuinely kind of creepy to me. Like, it just feels fleshy. It feels like a tiny human wearing a suit. I'm not scared of clowns, but I could see if people saw clowns like this in their mind's eye, I could understand the fear. It just feels strange. I'm not saying this as a negative. I'm like, yeah, I think that's what they were going for. I think they were going for how uncanny and strange it looks when you just combine these two things. It reminds me of Tingle, but like if you stretched him into strange inhuman forms. I like what its lore is, yeah, it's actually terrifying. Hooray! And then Fairy Hair I've always been kind of fond of. It's one of the few pixie monsters where, like, they truly are always just, we put the pixie texture over the top, and here's the inherent comedy in having, like, a sexy lady texture on a monster that just doesn't fit. And they just didn't do that for Fairy Hair. Instead, it is like, yeah, here is a rabbit that still looks like a rabbit. We didn't make it sexy in any way. We've moved around where the whole patterns are to make it just look like a rabbit with a fun pattern and hair. And it genuinely looks cute. I like how the texture of the eyes has changed to be more feminine and like eyelashy and stuff. I just appreciate it, like, abstractly in the sense of, like, yeah, they showed some restraint here. They could have made an actual sexualized bunny like Lot Bunny or something, but they didn't. They just made a genuine, fun, happy friend that children would love. It would fit right in with the Care Bears. We already talked about Pancho, and I love Pancho. It's just a nice, lovely, classic design. And I love the lore saying that both the pumpkin and the monster are separate sentences that work together. It's surprising how many monsters there are that are just, yeah, here is like 5 different personalities in a monster. There is DID everywhere for those with eyes to see. Shell-in show, I like the idea, but the way they make the shell so bulky, it's hard to even tell it's a shell from the front. You can only tell from the back. So I feel like I could have done more of that. I think they were kind of held back on making it have to still look a little bit like the pumpkin. But I do like the main body. It's the kind of a shame you don't see much of it with the shell covering it up. I like the funny, googly eyes. Like, it's basically just wearing a kigurumi designed like a fish. I also like the idea that a mermaid's tears just somehow formless. Like, this is a baby mermaid or something. Or I guess mermaids can create an entirely separate, different species that relies on mermaids being sad to perpetuate itself. Another one I already showed in the Let's Play, but you can see it here in better resolution. It's honestly one of the best ones. I love the idea that its entire thing has become a giant rocky skull, and inside it also has a separate, even more scrungly, even more grumpy rocky face. There's a unique cuteness to that adorable button body with that terrifying head, and I love it. I love all the Panchos so much, and this is still in my top 10 of Panchos. And Karancho we've also commented on the Let's Play, but you can see so much more of this in the higher resolution. I just love it. It's such a great idea of using the multiple faces. Like, 2 of them have become the shell, 1 of them has become the inner body. It's really nice. I love the little, like, twirly pyramid square things, these, like, Toblerone pieces on the side, these whatever those things were on a Pokémon from Digimon. It really ties the whole design together. It makes you think, like, oh, are those, like, budding into even more smaller faces? Will they grow more over time? And again, I gotta appreciate, they always give distinctly different faces to all the Color Pandoras, even when it mixes with the Color Pandoras. Like, they didn't just leave the regular Pancho face on, they didn't change it to the same face as one of the regular Color Pandoras. They made this entirely different, like, scrungly fucked up teddy bear face. And it's a great in-between of the two. Oh, that's what it's called? Blixie Clingy. Yeah, this is one of the ones that made me really think that's got to be a mistranslation of some kind. What the fuck is a Blixie Clingy? The flavor text says it's called that because it was found clinging to a rock, and I don't believe it. That makes no sense. There's so many other parts of the name that would need an explanation. The clingy part was not the part I was confused of. What is a Blixie? Why does clingy have a K? All of these questions are unanswered. But anyway, yeah, it's a classic design. I've already talked about it. Okay, I looked it up, and Blixie Clingy makes even less sense the more I learn about it. Apparently this name has possibly been erroneously given from one monster to a different monster. This is the original design for Blixie Clingy, which looks nothing remotely pirate related in any way. It's apparently a sound frequency radio monster, but it looks like a gachapon, and its head says Cooler Kaus, like Kaus. So wasn't the Japanese name? Is Blixie Clingy an attempt to create a similar, like, misspelled quirky word in English? And I don't know, but the wiki says that the Blixie Clingy we have here in Japanese is called Hiyotsukori not Blixie Clingy, but that one may actually be called Blixie Clingy. Did they just mix these up in the localization? And when I tried to look up for what Hiyotsu Kori means, Hiyotsu apparently means, it's one of those counting words in Japanese, and it means literally One Piece. So I think that might be a pun on the manga series about pirates called One Piece. And then Kori has several meanings, like ice and a thing inside a container, so the container holding One Piece. And that's a pretty funny, punny name. I have no idea how the fuck that became Blixie Clingy, unless it is, yeah, that was just meant for a different monster. And then Mewtwo I like, it's one of the rare ones that does anything different with being a Mew. Like, for one, I just think the design of the Mew looks cuter when it's one big orb like this. Like, it's not just a plushie cat, it's a plushie, like, some type of cat. Or I guess Squishmallows is the more modern version. And I like how the eyes have already also changed to be, what do they call it? Like, those little shimmery things that you push your hand over. Sequin pillows. But it's changed to those instead of being buttons. I do like the idea that some of them do change what the eyes are, that's cool. Reports from the future, I couldn't find a single other one in this game which does this. What a lot of wasted potential. I have no idea why, though, it's inside an apple. Like, are apples in any way associated with cats in Japanese? Is it a kind of pun? But I do like the quirky idea that the apple has a bite in it. And Mewtwo has never noticed someone's already wrecked its wonderful apple house, because it loves its wonderful apple house so much it never leaves. And I gotta say again, it's another one of the novelty ones where I just don't really get it. Like, how is this notable enough to be a novelty? If anything, it being a tiny acorn creature inside a tiny acorn makes so much more sense than it being inside a pumpkin. This feels like it should have been a basic variant of just what it already is, and the pumpkin should have been a special one. But I appreciate at least they did a really good job, really detailed texture. Is it a walnut? It might be a walnut. That walnut. But I don't know why it has, like, an old-timey cartoon back flap on its pants to poop out of. And then Pixie is just not my kind of design. There it is, that's just a lady. I gotta say, at least compared to other series' fan service monsters, it's less crap. Like, they put the effort to make it look like an actual monster. It looks like a demon person. And in the canon, the patterns that look like a bikini are actually fur on its body. Effort was made, and yeah, just a basic concept, a basic succubus demon girl. And not one of the best ways it's been rendered. Like, at least it's less pervy than some of the earlier ones. Like, some of the earlier ones, like, really emphasised how more human-shaped it was. So this is a bit more of a stylised version. Like, it still does look a bit, like, out of the style of all the other monsters. It looks, like, really small and really overly detailed and hard to make out the details because it is so small. It is actually strange how Pixie was never really meant to be small in the previous games. It was just person-sized. Either way, it's just like, it's been worse. There's been worse Pixies in the series. There's been ones that have looked more like just a person. There's been ones that have looked more inconsistent with the art style. There's also been ones that have looked more like they've tried to censor it too much. It doesn't even look at the same character anymore. Like, I'm fine with it just being a fan service thing that exists. Like, you don't have to censor it. But when it's like, it's more in the same art style as everybody else, that's when I like it more. If that makes any sense. Like, don't censor it, but just make it look less realistic. Like, it can still be a sexy lady, but a sexy cartoon lady. Actually, let's go have a look at more designs from Pixie from the other. This one I think is in Monster Rancher 3 or 4. Like, that looks a bit too cartoony and a bit too, like, anime-ish. Like, the way it just has, like, such a cutesy, childish face now on a body that's still fan-service strange. And also, it looks less like it's got fur and more like it's actually wearing a bikini. But the original design in the first game, that's just, like, yeah, that's 100% just how you would draw a regular human woman in, like, a fighting game. It just doesn't look like the style for a monster-raising game at all. But you have more of a fur texture going on, and it looks better. And I like how her proportions aren't so super skinny. Like, she's got kind of boxy big shoulders and everything. She does look like someone who actually could fight. This design was used in the anime, and it's drawn a lot better there. Like, her anime design was iconic. I can see why so many people found this, like, this is baby's first crush in an anime and stuff like that. So, do they have a page for that design? Okay, they do have a page for Pixie in the anime, but the name is not Pixie, it's instead a spoiler for the late game of the anime, so I'm going to leave that out. But yeah, you can see what her design is here. A much more well-rendered version of the furry bikini thing, and her wings are bigger and stuff like that. Like, she was really badass. She was really a cool, serious character. Like, it wasn't just the femme fatale, the seductress. She was also a total badass, the second in command, the big leader of the evil army, the one who gets awesome redemption and sadness, and was really popular and really cool. Here is her doing a sassy face. She had the vibe of the Hex girls from Scooby-Doo. That specific kind of like, oh, she's fan service, but like in a cool way, like she's a badass person, not just what we get in the games is basically just they're cute and they're quirky and they're girly and they're selfish and they do traditional girly poses for everything they do, and it's just like there is no real personality beyond just woman who is sexy. Versus Anime Pixie has so much more than that. Anyway, going back to the games, the model in 2 just looks worse in every possible way. I don't know what they did to her face. It looks like her eyes are pointing in opposite directions. Just the same thing, but a slight bit incorrect. I also hate how its profile says it's literally powerless. Like, I think it's a mistranslation. I think what they meant is just, it's not physically strong, it's a magical monster, but like, come on. And then design in MR3 is one of the rare ones that actually bother to change anything. Like, it's got longer hair, it's got a different pattern for the bikini. I don't really like it very much. Again, it just feels like a bit softened and more like generic, big-eyed, anime uwu fan service girl, rather than like cool fan service girl, like sassy adult fan service girl. Also, the position of the wings make it look like they're coming out of her neck rather than her shoulders, which is strange. And yeah, the one we saw before is the design for 4 and Evo, and it just doesn't seem as good. It's just the same idea drawn over a very basic anime model. I mean, at least it fits more in with the style than it being not very anime, but yeah. And actually the official art for this game, Monster Rancher DS, looks really different than what we actually get in-game. That's a perfectly valid redesign. Shame we didn't get it. Apparently the one on the MMO looks totally different, like a generic succubus in an MMO. I don't know why it suddenly has armor and none of the colors are remotely the same. The one in the second MMO is more accurate, but only in the sense of like, oh, it's just the last one, but cosplaying as the real Pixie now. It just doesn't feel like the same person. All of these ones seem to give it big eyes, and like, it didn't have big eyes. Where is the personality? Where is the sassy one we love? Okay, that's my least favourite of all of them. This is the one from the Android app. It just looks like a Slinky doll. Why are its shoulders so wide and also no meat on the arms? I feel like you just grab it by the head and wiggle it and it would jiggle like noodles. And then the anime is mentioned again, and yeah, it's the best. Mostly because, yeah, it's a design that can be appreciated both by people who like fan service and people like me who don't, and just like a cool character who is cool. And how could anyone think that those eyes, that eye design is less appealing than the same eyes as every other character? Like, come on. It's cool, she's sassy, she's fun, she's badass, she's very 90s. And we lost that for the boredom of modern anime. And then Columbia is one of my favourites because it's just like a Pororo but with a human body. It's got the back of a coat becoming like a little tail, it's got a little pattern underneath it in a red colour, it's got the wings being kind of like stiff, kite-ish things, and the outfit being redesigned to be more feminine, and like the undersuit of like black stuff underneath, or is that actually its skin, is it actually a void creature? And just overall how it's just like, it's not fan service, it is just a girl monster, a feminine monster, but it's not fan service, it's just a thing that women would like to play as, maybe. And that's cool. That is a thing, again, that was missing with a lot of early Pixie designs. When it first debuted in the first game, it was kind of like, here's the only monster for girl, and it's girl for men, basically. It's like, yeah, it's men will find her sexy. Born of the Future, it is very literally just the girl monster for girls. You can get this by going in the microphone mode and just saying girl. You don't get Pixie, you get this. This is a Pixie for girls. I think this series actually handles this the best of like all series that had fan service in the early titles. Like, yeah, we just kept the fan service and also made alternatives that don't have fan service, and they're both the same species. And it works great. Everyone enjoys it. Everyone loves it. The only thing people can complain about is like the slight different ways that Pixie is drawn in every title. I wish more things would approach things this way. Like, rather than censoring, just adding more options. Like, no one complains about it if it isn't sexist fan service. Like, you can just have fan service, but everyone gets the fan service, or there's fan service and also a non-fan service. There's women who just exist and are women. It's nice, it's cool, it's nice to see how the series progressed. And also it's just cool to be a funky clown woman with angel wings, made of dragon ear fins. Yeah! I really like the design. Like I said in the Let's Play, it reminds me of the Black Mages from Final Fantasy. It's got a cool kind of appeal. I like the swirly patterns on the side of the head that look like eyes when it already has eyes inside what could possibly be a mouth, or could possibly just actually be eyes. Like, it's almost got like a bird shape to it. And I like the jester hat being its head and its ears. I like the little balls on the end of it. And I like the arms being like capes. but they're actually arms, and it actually just has an extra cape, and it overall looks really nice. Like, honestly, nothing in the design specifically says this is a clown, it's exactly like a real clown, but all the elements put together just give the vibe of a clown, while also being a genuine monster, a genuine, not human looking thing. And I think it works best when there's only one human looking monster. That is one thing, like I say, is great about Monster Ranchers. They know they're making a game where combining the monsters is the best part, so they make almost every monster have a really unique body shape, which would be instantly identifiable no matter what they're fused with. So yeah, when I first played this game and I was showing you, this was my favourite, the favourite monster in the whole thing, and now it's slightly edged out by Fratley and Eared Mew, but still a very strong third. And then here's what Falco looks like. Did you fucking guess that from any of the other things we've had? Like, even its icon doesn't have the same colour of orange. Half of the Falco subbreeds aren't even orange, they have no orange in them. It looks to me like it doesn't really look very birdish. Like, it's got feathers on it, but it constantly to me looks like a werewolf. Like, even the nose, like, if you didn't have the different colours, you wouldn't really be able to tell it's a beak. It looks kind of like a nose. It looks like an alien kind of face. The patterns are overly complicated. They don't really match or say anything. And, like, I guess it also has the Horus thing on its head, but that detail doesn't fit with the rest of the design, really, like, because it's so small on such a hulking thing. Like, I like the idea, in theory, of having a bird with a werewolf kind of body type, like a really buff bird, but Garudamon did it better. This is a theoretically cool colour scheme, just doesn't really look that good on what it is. It makes me feel, oh, why is there this crazy pattern on the monster that doesn't seem to fit? Oh, yeah, it's so it can have really cool fusions. So it can have loads of really instantly recognisable ones. You'll always know it's a Falco because nothing else has this colour scheme in the game. And they just didn't do that. There's like one, maybe two monsters I noticed with a Falco subspecies which were orange. There was a Pororo. I can't remember the second one, there may not have been a second one. And it just baffles me, like, did someone on the team just really hate Falco? Did they run out of time? Did they run out of ideas? Generally, why is half its whole lineup just totally unrelated designs? So I wonder if my opinion of a design would be higher if it had been better handled in actual gameplay. But I can't astral project into the universe where that's true, so for now, it's a meh. And then this one I actually really like. This is how you do a mostly the same gradient design really well. Like, the underbelly works well, the lightness of the love wings on its shoulders and everything, and how gentle and tiny the face is compared to how bulky and crazy it looks. This is a good mixture of scary and cute combined, and all the things I love. If I was to use a Falco, this would be the one I picked. I also like the lore of it, saying that a young heartbroken woman who jumped into the sea, her love came back in the form of this monster. Like, I'm not sure what that means. Like, do they mean like her love as in the person that she was bereft of? Like, her boyfriend, her partner, came back from the dead as a monster to comfort her and they lived happily ever after? Or do they mean like the actual concept of her love? Like, she jumped into the sea and she died and was reunited with her partner, I guess, in the afterlife, and the love they had together came back in the form of a monster that represents them. Like, they made a child of a monster from their souls. I don't know, but I kind of prefer the version where the dead husband did come back as a crazy bird thing and rescued her from dying in the sea and they had a happy ending. That would be cool. And then Muko is the one we've talked about, the one that's just, it's uncanny in the best way. I like how the stitches are more insane to show that, yeah, it's bursting at the seams, it doesn't fit in there. It's worth Falco existing just for how funny this concept is. For once, the terrifying Mutex just stretched over the wrong body was on purpose. And it's funny as fuck. I also like how the lore says that it's not even a subspecies, it's the actual Falco just in disguise. And here we have Dak Plant. I will forever not know why it's called Dak Plant and not Duck Plant. I mean, I guess just because Duck Plant would be boring. I like this design, it's fun. I like the stem of the plant being the blocky toy parts. I like it not having a face on anything. I like it just having a random beak on the body with no connection to an actual face. And it's fun. It's a crazy, like, it makes sense for a Toy Blocks monster. It could be rearranged in the shape of a totally different monster. And then Pumpkin Plant is pretty cool. It's another one that's like, oh, we mixed the monsters in theme. Like, you wouldn't immediately guess it's a Pancho, even though Pancho is the pumpkin monster. It's a pumpkin and no traits of Pancho. It's just the pumpkin. I like the idea that the pumpkin and the Pancho might separately go out and, like, mix with different monsters in different ways. I wonder if there's another one that'll be just 100% the Pancho and no pumpkin elements. Unfortunately, there it wasn't. I realised why. It's because Pancho shares a colour scheme with Colour Pandora, so it might be hard to tell which is which. I'm not sure they've done it. I think they actually are one of the only two monsters which share colours. And it's such a specific colour scheme too. So I like it. It feels like not even really connected to the plant or the Pancho. It feels like a totally different design you would make for a purely pumpkin monster, which just has a plant on the top. And the plant is totally different too. I like it being a random purple. It complements the other colours taken from the Pancho really well. It's nice, it's fun. And then Queen Plant, this is the one that I said looked like Brian from Dream Daddy, so wait till it rotates around again. Yeah, a little face, like it looks like an upside down beard to me. This is actually something I said at some point of the edited out footage in one of the monsters I didn't like. I couldn't find where it was to put it back in. Just know I did previously foreshadow this in the 8-hour version of this video, which shall never manifest upon this mortal plane. Because that's just a recurring quirk of the plants, is that they have a mouth but they don't have a face. But here it's like, it's got what seems to be like a rosy cheeks pattern but might also be eyes. But, you know, plant doesn't have eyes, so like, yeah. And it's got the fur on the chest mixed with the hair of the pixie and on the top, so like, is it meant to be upside down? Is it just it's rearranged in strange places that it doesn't have the anatomy? That's what I mean about how so many of the monsters mixed with pixie are a funny idea of what would the fan-service texture look like on a fundamentally non-fan-service monster. I like how even the little ends of its tendrils of its roots have like nail polish on them. It's really funny. So I appreciate you fucked up Little Onion, which may in fact be an upside down beard of a round dad. And then this is one of the novelty ones that I really like. It's classic. It really is a nice twist on the monster shape and a logical, funny thing to do. It's not a flower, it's a mushroom now. And it's a pretty good, fun design for a mushroom monster. This could easily fit into any given Final Fantasy or Dragon Quest game. The only thing I'd say looks a bit strange is the mushroom being pointed forward at such a weird angle, but that is just how the rigging of the animations works for the plants, so I guess they had to. Anyway, tiger. It's not a tiger. It's the infamous fact about the game. Probably even people who haven't played Monster Ranch have heard this secondhand. The original name in Japanese apparently was Raiga, the name of another game made by the same developers. It was a reference, and we're not sure why, but it ended up as Tiger. I really don't know how this misunderstanding could happen. Like, I don't see how a translator could look at that and think that it must be a misspelling of tiger. And they've consistently used that misspelling so frequently throughout the game and never noticed it. So I can only think maybe it was an intentional change, but I also have no idea why they would purposefully choose to do this. It's not a copyright issue. Rygar was released in English. They own both games. They can just mention it. But anyway, because of that one whim, we got stuck with this for like 20 years. But yeah, as an idea for a funky, like, ice electric wolf thing, it's a pretty great design. I find it hard to judge it because I've grown up on it since my childhood. It's like the first generation of Pokemon. A lot of the designs there I think, oh, that's just a pretty normal rendition of an animal in a fantasy setting. But I'm like, yeah, not many games have actually done it like that. It just feels normal because I've rotated it in my mind for every day since I was 8. So to me, this is just the image in my mind of Fantasy Wolf, and I judge every Fantasy Wolf compared to it. It's great, it's fun. I loved his personality in the anime. He was kind of like Beelzemon vibes, like grumpy tsundere, older brother, angsty, edgy trench coat man, but as a dog. And everyone loved him, and he was a great character because of that. He really warmed up to the rest of the cast. He has so many heartwarming moments and so many badass arsehole moments early on before all that redemption. And it's great, and it's fun, and a good dynamic with Hair. Both of them being, like, the bad guy of the group in different ways. Like, but the edgy guy who's like, I'm a loner, I don't need friends. And Hair is, like, the rogue of the group. He's the thief. He's the one who's a little bit morally ambiguous, but he's also really funny and personable and charming. And they work great as perfect opposites to each other. Anyway, I'm not even talking about designs. I'm just talking about how the anime is really good. You should all just watch the anime. But yeah, Tiger, classic friend. And as far as I can tell, nothing changed about it in this game compared to the others. Maybe the eyes are a little bit smaller, I don't know. And Flazer is the one we had for Platfrey in our gameplay. I still think this is a really, really bad design for an Abyss fusion. So many of these fusions just only make sense as fusions with the word Abyss and not what the monster actually looks like. Like, genuinely, is this the only reason it's called Abyss and not Anubis? So they could just have a spot to dump any demon-looking designs, because they didn't happen to include one of the monsters which actually looks like that. Born of the Future! They did! It's a late unlockable. Dragon is in the game! There is no excuse for this nonsense. Because this is 100%, it's what was actually a dragon-tiger fusion in the previous games. Specifically, only in Monster Rancher Advance. It has been in other games, and I misremembered. It's not Abyss in any of those other games. It's instead Tiger and unknown question mark subbreed. It's like the novelty slot, like the baseball boy for Suezo. And I don't know why, because the description still says it's a dragon subbreed in the mobile game. They fixed it and then they changed it back to something worse. I don't understand. It's slapped on a random new guy, which really deserved to actually have a new design to go with it. Like, Abyss is one of my favourite monsters here, and I would have loved to see what it actually looks like. But as a hell dog, a dragon dog, divorced from what it's actually fused from, it's a really good design. I love it. I love how it's not just a colour swap on the same tiger. They made the hair all slicked down, they made the structure of the face very different, the mouth wider, the eyes more set together to make it look more creepy, like a human face with the mouth being too big, like a slit mouth, like a Jeff the Killer kind of thing. I love the pattern, the red pattern on its forehead looks like almost like an upside down cross, but not really in a way that's like sacrilegious or anything, just in a way that makes you think, oh, that's definitely a demon. And the way around the face is all dark, and then the mane is all red, and it's definitely a demon. It's Baphomet, that's what it looks like. I love the colour scheme too, the dark parts, the red parts, the orange parts. It just goes really well together. It makes a great contrast, and it makes the whole thing look ragged and werewolfy and undead in a way that's just great. It looks like an enemy that come running at you in Parasite Eve crossed with a demon, and I love it. And it's a friend, it's also a dragon, and it's also a wolf, and it's also kind of a unicorn like regular tiger is anyway. And I love them, and they're scrungly, and I headcanon them as a wonderful friend and not evil in any way. And I can't wait to actually get back and play with this monster, if you guys do want me to continue playing this game. Children and mothers alike adore the Legion, which is, yeah, it's just Nessie with a different name. And I guess a little shark fin that's slightly different for Nessie. But yeah, probably one of my least favourite monsters in terms of creativity of design, because it truly is just the traditional monster with no quirks whatsoever. Except, yeah, just one thing on top of the head. But in terms of, like, things that are actually good, it's only the eyes. They're not even really creative eyes, but they're well-drawn, chibi eyes. But truly boring. I'm very conflicted. It's huggable, but also I probably wouldn't remember it after 5 minutes of leaving its presence. Almost all of this monster's fusions are exactly as boring. We probably won't see it again until the very end of the final reviews. The only relevant thing I have to say is it looked infinitely better in its first appearance. God, like, oh, back in my day I used to have traits. It used to have big, semi-human anime eyes. It used to have a squiggly wave pattern on its belly. That's two details that exist. I do not know why anyone would willingly choose to not have any details at all. I can't even say it's like the white bread of monsters. It's like the plastic bag it came in. And here is Zan. Zan is just like a chitinous bug alien man. I do really like the praying mantis arms as wings, it's really cool, but it does also have the same problem as Pixie, where the proportions are just so in normal human anime, and it's so detailed that you can't really make it all out when it's so small. Like, I feel like it has to be an error, right, that these two monsters are rendered so small because they have so much detail and stuff, and they have to be, like, crammed in the same space. I really think if you scaled them up to actually be human-sized, then it would look better. You'd be able to tell what's going on here. Like, I can't really make out what's going on with the face at all unless I look at the icon where it shows the face. This is me recording this in 2x scale on an emulator, a lot clearer than you would get in the actual game. I don't know what kids playing this game actually thought this looked like. Was it just indistinct scribbles? I also never understood how it's consistent in every single game where Zan appears. It's supposed to be an artificially created robot monster, but it doesn't really look like a robot. It looks like an alien bug thing. Like, I suppose you could design a robot to look like that, but it has no gears or marks or screws or anything, and it has what looks like fleshy parts in between the joints or anything, and the way all the robot parts are designed just looks like bug chitin. I just don't get it. It would make so much sense as a biological mutant created by magic crazy science. Like, this could be a more edgy design for Mewtwo if it was just made maybe a little bit later in the 90s. I gotta say it's a shame that its colour scheme is so boring all over. Like, you have little slight highlights again of like the parts in between the breaks and the cheating. If it's not really a bright colour that stands out very much, and apparently it does have red glowing eyes but you can barely fucking see them. I feel a good, like, a purple colour for the marks in between the cheating could have worked. Or like different parts of it being like, rather than just, here's dark grey, here's slightly lighter grey, you could have done anything. It just feels odd. It's designed with such complexity in the actual modelling, and then the colours are just a blank wash. But it has a lot of creative and fun fusions, which really make more of a whole anatomy and add actual design. I mean, I'm sure it has actual design, I just can't make it out because I can't fucking see. I figured out how to extract and view the models in the program Apicula, which is what I use for Dragon Quest Monsters Joker. And while I can see them in more detail, for some reason it has a lighting issue, so the colours are a lot more faded. Just try and ignore that. You can zoom in and see more details from Zan. And doesn't change my opinion on Zan. I still can't really tell any details about Zan. It is just miscellaneous shapes, very similar colours. They crunked and scrunked one of those little desktop mannequin pose things. All I can say, I can see where the eyes are now. The rest is just rivets and holes and chunks. There you go. It's a thing. I still think it looks more like an insect than a robot. And unfortunately I can't show any of the fusions of it yet because that is the end of the episode. That was just me covering the monsters we unlocked during the Let's Play. I was just planning to make one big review episode, but even when I've cut down over half of the monsters out here, I realised I have to leave in some that I rank like meh and average because they have required context to understand the later reviews of the ones I liked. So it's ended up being full video length, and I may make one more, two more, let's see how we go. Can I wrangle 6 more hours into something readable? So enjoy that next time, if this is a thing you enjoy. If you don't, feel free to skip it, and enjoy whatever else you do today.